you look at a panel right now. This is the shape of the panel. Right, this is the bread pan up here. Down here, I call this the heel, and this is the toe. If I need to make this angle increase the angle or decrease the angle, this is the step from here to the toe. That's the step, which is 22 3/8. And that's how I do my valleys, is I do a step measurement. And this is a lot easier to adjust than, you know, getting a protractor out, changing the degrees of an angle. This is a little easier because all you need is a tape, and you can shout up to the guy, I need to shorten the we need to shorten the step 3/8 of an inch, so that would bring this heel down. If I shorten it up to change the angle, or I need to add an 1/8 to the step.
That little diagram is helpful because it shows you how we're going to install standing seam metal roofing coming down a valley. The panels actually curl into a hook strip. That's why I kind of left this tail long, because I wanted to show you exactly how this process works. I have half of it bent and turned, and the other half I left long so I can mark it on the roof. So I just put it in place. Gonna roughly cut some of this excess material off like this. This isn't a finished cut. I'm just getting excess material out of my way so I can then reinstall this panel and get a very accurate mark. So I popped it in and get my pencil. I'm gonna mark right where it crosses that hook on in the valley. And I take it out, transfer my mark to the back. I'm gonna grab my tape, I flip it over, and it doubles as a ruler for these short little lines. Make my line, make my 1-inch line that I cut on, so I leave some excess material that we can fold over after. So there's a 1-inch extra strip that I can bend into a flap like I'm doing right here. And once I bend that all the way over, that hook now can hook onto the valley metal. And that clicks in, everything's dandy. Everything's looking good down low. Get my clips in, 2 screws per clip always. I'm gonna snip this clip, that's my technical term. I snip the clip and I turn it back over on itself, and it prevents the panel from sliding down the roof, actually. We're gonna seam this panel. It's a mechanical lock, so these are crimped seams, and this is a crimping tool that we use. I'll leave a link in the description so you can pick up one yourself. Has plastic jaws on it so it doesn't scratch the paint. I'm gonna grab this measurement now of the previous panel's male seam. I'm gonna get the information I need there, which is a length right down to the very point. Make sure I write it down because my memory is absolutely trash. Now to get the length for the other side, I transfer over a panel width, which is 17 1/4. So I make those 2 lines. Now I know where to line my tape up and then extend it all the way down onto the valley where it intersects, and that's how I get that measurement. We're gonna head down into the garage and start fabricating the panel.
Nope. Nope, also not that one. Yeah. Put a top on her. Okay. Okay, so female was 51 3/4. The entire length was 74 3/8. So 3/8. I can measure my step here. 22.5 big. So right, I measured the full length. Right, I measured the female up there. I measured the male, which is the female because the female is going to go over the male. And then you saw that I measured over the panel width, my panel coverage measurement, which is 17 1/4. Up on the roof, I measured over twice, and then I measured down with the tape. So I knew where to line my tape up, down, and then where it intersected the valley. And where it intersected the valley hook was the 70, what was it? 70, 4 3/8. So I put those two measurements on the same side, and then what I can do is measure the subtraction of it, or measure the difference. What's the difference between, or take the small measurement minus the big measurement, and what's that in between? So that was 22, right? 22.5. It was a little bit more than a half, almost 22 5/8. 22.5 strong, I call it. So the 16ths I call strong or weak. You know, if you're on the positive side, if you're positive a 16th, I go strong. If you're on the negative side, I go weak. So so we're 22.5 strong. So what I did from the others, so coming up the valley, that was 22.5. Or sorry, that was 22 1/4. So from 22, I'm splitting the difference. So there's 22 5/8, 22 1/4. Halfway in between there somewhere is 22 3/8. That's what I'm going to go off of. And then what we can do is, if we need to, adjust on the next panel. And it's not ridiculously noticeable. We're talking very small variation. So nothing that can be picked up by the naked eye. So I don't have to go up and down, up and down, up and down to get these measurements. I can deal with, you know, a minor variance to help me speed up the process, or to keep things flowing. Before, like, you know, as I was coming up in the day, I would be running around like a chicken with his head cut off, right? Because in my head, I had to get the exact angle before I made the panel, and you know, it's just a lot of running around for a little change, something that would not be picked up by the naked eye, looking up at it. And then you know, I can make changes as I go. Okay, so I need my shear, which is right here, and my extension cord is way over there. Okay, so this is how I cut my valleys. I know you guys have seen me do a lot of hand cutting in the past, but one thing I love about the community of people that watch my videos is that they think, when they see me do something, they think, oh, that's how he does it? Oh my God. And no, I mean, I'm gonna change it up just to mess with you now. No. Depends on the size of the project too. I'm working by myself. I got a lot of roof to put on. You know, like, you gotta You gotta pick your battles, you know? You know, if there's only 5 panels to put on, I'm not gonna pull out the shear. I'll just hand cut them because, you know, by the time I'm done setting up the shear, I could have had, you know, 3 panels done. You know, you just gotta read I guess, been doing this so long, I kind of just live and breathe it, I guess, you know, so it's just automatic. Like whatever it is I do, it's just automatic, which is probably why some guys get stuck in their ways, right? Because they're like, it's just, they've been doing it so long, the same way for so long, you know. That. I'll get my Wuko. I just saw it. Oh, here. Wuko. Wuki. Oh, there's my piece. Just need a little chunk of wood to elevate my piece, like so, so the Wuko can get in there and make magic, baby. Can we do this a better way? Yeah, sure. No, I don't like that. I'm gonna put my... You do it like this? I want you guys to see it. It's a great tool. The greatest tool of them all. Sure, let's do it like that. I'll just flip over to the other side. Okay. That in there. Put that down there. Grab my plate break. Actually, one thing, because the Wuko can't get all the way to the corner, just gotta help it along here with the folders. That. Now you can get this on there and just work it. Go to the other side. Sorry, this would be faster, but I'm doing it so you guys can see what I'm doing. I swear I'm way faster than those guys. So when I gotta double, when I gotta do back and forth, wherever I bent last, I make sure I'm not going right to where I bent. I'm overlapping, staggering, and I'm only going little bits at a time. You see how where that ended? Now when I move up here, I don't go to here. I stay back here. And go all the way. Stagger. All the way. Okay, and then I just dial it in. This helps prevent scratching, sliding it up the roof. And it sits flatter on the roof too. All right, let's bring it up. Ooh, really snowy. Okay, let's just do one more and that'll probably be it for today. This is nasty. Okay. Yeah, like, look, we can get one more panel on them. Make sure I'm tied off here. Okay. Okay, up we go. Let's see how good that angle was. Dang. 22 3/8 is looking good, homie. Okay, and you see in there? Deadly. Right to the end. Let's go back. Oh, fuck. Okay. Scared me. Okay. Clip it. Let's clip it and seam it. And move on to the next panel. Well, we're doing the next. Oh, we're doing the next panel. I don't know. Thing is, I'll leave, and the snow will stop, and I'll be like, "Oh damn, we should go back." And then I go back, and the snow starts again. Whoa. Yeah. Oh. Snip the clip. Okay. Here I'm just doing like notched bread pans because it's a steep slope roof. It does not need to be dog-eared, folded. Even though it is the best way, it's a bit overkill for what we're doing here. I only use those details where it's necessary because they take so much time to do, but also because it's just overkill. You don't need to do that. Unless there's a code that tells me I gotta do it. I'm not gonna do it. But that's not even really a good example because there's code out there that also makes no sense at all either. So I know in my years of doing this that is completely acceptable to be buried into a J trim 2 inches in with, you know, 2.5, close to 3 inches of overlap. All right, what did I say? 96 3/4, right? 96 3/4. And the 74 3/8 was the last one. So the seam that's up there, 74 3/8. 96 3/4. I'll transfer that over to here. You can see I'm only working off one side. There's a reason for that. Not because I'm lazy. There we go. It's not because I'm lazy. It's because, let's say that top isn't completely straight, right? Just because, you notice I didn't use a square up here, right? It's not because, it's just, I scribed a line with my finger. If that's just a hair off, I want to stay consistent to one side, right? And then I'll measure that down to here and I'll do a square line across because that will be the true step, right? If I measure there and let's say, this top isn't completely square. Let's say this top here isn't completely square and this is pushed out a bit. That's gonna throw, if I pull a tape measure here and then this isn't square to that corner, if this is low or high, right? Then if I measure from this corner, my step is gonna be off. So I want my step to be bang on, no matter what. So I always measure from one side and then I can add my step to that, right? I don't need to add it there. Doesn't matter what you do, but as long as you're adding on the same side and then squaring it across, then that here is always gonna be, it's always gonna be bang on step measurement. All right, enough talking, let's get to it. Got a 1 inch notch mark here. Okay. So here. This off. Not sure what we're gonna do with those, but I don't really throw shit away until we're done. Block under there. This going here. Okay. That's it. So that one's ready. I have this length on the board. Last one's crossed out. So when I come back down next, I don't have to measure anything up there. I just know the next female seam is gonna be 96 3/4, and I add the step to that. So I really just, if I had a crew up there, I'd pass this up and get started on the next panel. Anyways, thanks for joining me. See you on the next one.